Claudia, good evening. You talked a lot about during your preparation for this fight that you learned to build your body for fighting. Instead of destroying it, you learned to train correctly, and today it looked like you exploded and you're able to win well. How did you feel inside the cage? Do you think it was your best performance until now in your career? Good evening. I consider myself the best fighter in the division, but I think a few things were missing that I needed to do to be able to perform well inside of the octagon. And that's why I decided to change everything in my life. It was not easy. It has not been easy to leave my comfort zone. 10 years living in Rio. I went abroad alone. I have nobody there. I'm training with different trainers, different people. It's very, very tough, but I got to a point in my career where I felt that I needed to do that to be able to improve and to become the fighter that I want to be, that I desire to be. We saw in the promotional videos for your fight that your opponent was training a lot of takedown defense. Do you believe that was the idea to keep the fight standing, or did you really think that she underestimated your... Was she underestimating your striking, even though you submitted her? I don't think so. I don't think she underestimated it. I think she believes that she's better than I am on the feet, even though I've trained on my feet. I've trained striking my whole life. She has a striking background. I have a jiu-jitsu background. So she believes she's better than I on her feet. But I've become a complete fighter for some time. But I needed to train differently to be able to show that inside of the octagon. My hands are very hard, very heavy. And when I hit them, I'm sure that they're going to fall. I know that my hands are heavy. I've been training a lot of striking. Because just having heavy hands is not going to just win fights. You have to have a strategy and a game plan, and that's what I'm working on today. I wanted to ask you a question. It might be a little uncomfortable. You lost twice to Joanna, once for the belt and once not for the belt. You just beat Karolina. She fought against Joanna not too long ago, also for the belt. Where do you see yourself in the division now? What's the next step for you? It doesn't bother me at all to talk about that. We're in a sport where you can win and you can lose at any time. Of course, we work with results and we always want positive results, but we can't always get that. And about my 2 defeats to Joanna, I only believe there was 1. There's 2 on paper, but if you were to analyze the fight, I did not lose that first fight to her. The second fight I really did lose, but if you were to look technically at it, I have better technique, better MMA technique. I'm not a better striker, but I'm a better MMA fighter than Joanna. But I trained incorrectly to fight with her. I killed myself. I trained for 17 weeks in my camp, killing my body. I was destroyed. I couldn't even stand up anymore. I was killing my body. I'm that kind of Brazilian that I never give up. I believe that. I always give my best at all times. And sometimes giving your best and giving everything is not the right thing. You have to follow the recipe, or it's not going to come out right. And that's exactly what I did in the second fight against Joanna. How do I see myself in the division today? I believe I'm the #1 on the ranking, like it's on paper. Joanna is the champion. So I have all the tools to beat her, but I needed to do what I did to reinvent myself, to be able to improve and to find what was missing in my game, which was my cardio, my patience, not let the adrenaline pump too hard and not kill my body. And now I found myself, but I don't believe this fight makes too much sense. Rose is saying she deserves for the belt, to fight for the belt. And she can go ahead because whatever is in store for Joanna is going to be saved right here. And continuing the question about where you see yourself in the division, do you think about moving up to flyweight now that there's a new division? Is that a new opportunity for you? I used to have a hard time making strawweight. I used to get very heavy. I used to think I needed to be heavy and strong. So I thought that taking off a lot of weight and putting it back on was good. So not only training, but all the strategy around cutting weight and everything that you need to do to become a complete MMA fighter is what I'm doing. I study game plan a lot and I want to improve every day. I found myself in this division. This is my division. In the future, maybe I could fight in the division above, but I'm a strawweight. First of all, congratulations for your win. I want to know if in your camp and your strategy for your fight against Karolina, were you studying or were you looking to take the fight to submit? The last time you had a submission was in 2010. After that, you've been striking a lot. So I wanted to know if you already had that in plan and if you could give a little bit more detail to how you got to her back. So it's funny because I've been in jiu-jitsu my whole life. I competed a lot. I got to black belt. I was a world champ, a Brazilian champion. I got into MMA through jiu-jitsu. And when I got to the UFC, when I got to the highest level, I saw that everyone was trying to run away from my jiu-jitsu. Nobody wanted to do jiu-jitsu against me. And I still had that idea that that's what I needed to do. I didn't change. And that's when I started to train more on my feet, to change a little bit of my game. But I think I needed to make changes to training, to my camp, for that to happen. I can't just be for 15 or 25 minutes trying to submit someone without having a strategy. To do a camp, just preparing yourself for that moment. There's got to be a strategic training and intelligent training, and that's what I did for this fight. I trained, I saw her strong points and her weaknesses, and I focused on that. I felt very well on my feet, but I know that I'm much better than her on the ground, so it went to the ground. Talking about your strategy still, you know that Karolina is a striker. She's trained for much longer than you, and you're a grappler, you're a world champion, a Brazilian champion. Did you really want to cut, was that your strategy, to cut the octagon to be able to counter her and take her down? Or if the fight was standing, would you left it on the feet? What was your strategy? What would be the perfect strategy that you worked on? Studying her game. She's very dangerous on the short distance in the pocket. She's got elbows. She's got spinning back kicks in the long distance. And in the pocket, where I'm much better than her, she's also very dangerous because she's got elbows and knees, and she's been showing that in her fights. So we studied her two most strongest points, which is what I try to do. I try to get in there and not let her do what she wanted to do and impose my game.
Do you think you have the best jiu-jitsu of all the women divisions?
I'm sure. You know, I don't think nobody in the strawweight division has better jiu-jitsu than me. Like I was saying now, when I started fighting in the UFC, everybody was avoiding my jiu-jitsu, you know, but I didn't wake up to see that. I was like, okay, I'll keep doing my jiu-jitsu. Maybe someday I'll get something. But now I'm studying the way to get there. You know, I'm a smarter fighter, you know, and I'm doing everything I have to do to finish my fights now.
You said that what's Joanna is being kept for her, but and you said you're not thinking of your next step as a title fight, but what do you imagine? What would be better? Would you rather wait and maybe have Rose fight Joanna, or do you have another opponent in mind that you think would make sense in this moment? How do you plan that? In reality, I think that the fight has no appeal. Joanna and I, again, we fought twice again. On paper, I have 2 defeats to Joanna, so I don't like to have fights like that. I want fights where the fans and the UFC itself, the executives, a fight that people want to watch. So I'm sure that if the UFC gave me a title shot right now, people would be saying, you know, she lost to Joanna twice, and that's not what I want to do. I want to prepare myself and to show, it's my challenge. I want to show everyone that I'm able to fight Joanna again. I want everyone to come up to me and say, yeah, right now Claudia has all the capabilities to beat Joanna. And that's why I'm working on the flaws that I think I had when I fought her in the first and the second time. Now, I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm in a little bit of a complicated situation. I'm a #1 in the ranking, but I fought the champion twice. So everyone's going to try to get ahead of me, like Rose. Rose said she doesn't want to fight me. She wants to fight Joanna. She said, not Claudia now. She wanted to fight Michelle, and so she fought Michelle, and right now maybe she'll fight for the title, and she can do that. And if for the other ones that don't want to fight me either, go ahead and pass me and fight for the title, because I'll be preparing to fight Joanna, and I will be prepared to fight Joanna. I'm sure of that. I'm really not sure what's going to happen, because it's going to be tough for someone to want to do it now. They're going to try to pass me, which is what I would also want to do. I don't think that's wrong. But I'm going to talk to Sean Shelby and Dana and see who's going to be next now. But I want to fight soon. I'm ready to fight again. You can't think of anyone? No one that's been getting your attention? I want to fight everyone in the strawweight division. Anyone. You talked about, it looks like you always talk about how hard it was, your decision to change your life and take a new path. And after you saw Aldo's defeat, after you left everything behind, how hard was it for you to watch that, or to get the news that he lost? I watched the fight a little bit at the end, and it's very sad. I left Nova Uniao. I'm training somewhere else, but I love the guys that always trained with me for my whole life. It was 10 years inside of that place. I love everyone. I love Dede, Aldo. Even though they think I'm making the wrong decision, I only think I'm only doing what's right for my career. And it really hurts me to see my friends losing like that. But like I said a little while ago, but unfortunately in this sport, we're here to win or lose at any moment. Jessica Andrade lost recently to Joanna as well. And I already asked Belfort if he would accept a fight in the UFC, which doesn't have a city locked in, but it's going to be in October. A fight again between you and Jessica, could that happen? Like I said, I'll fight anyone in the division. Jessica is now a strawweight, so it's someone who I'll definitely fight soon. I have no problem in fighting against someone of my same nationality. I'd rather fight someone who's not a Brazilian. I like defending my flag, but for sure Jessica's someone I have in mind.